Altai for a Roost mirror matchup. DeMusliM takes game one game away from staying alive in round 2, and he needs it to accrue more points. He went out a little bit too earlier in open battlefields. Let's see if he can do it. Let's see if he can upset Wam, because, you know, after the way that Wam and Puppy Paw have performed in Golden League so far, people have high hopes for this guy. Start of this tournament, people would have looked, they would have went, DeMusliM, what a god. The way his head shines so brightly, it's like God is speaking to me. No one can beat him. But now, things have changed. Wam, one of those names, people's eyebrows raising. Like, oh, this guy might be top 8. He could be a dominant top 8 consistently. We're going to have to see someone change in that regard. And what better place to prove it than in a mirror matchup where smallest thing can make the difference, but also you're similarly matched, right? Compared to Civ matchups where maybe one is at a clear disadvantage. First thing we've got to look towards to see if someone got an advantage. Generations. Wood lines, fairly even. DeMusliM's more closely clustered together, might allow a little bit more efficiency. The gold situation is more aggressive for him. He has to play forward while Wam has his more retracted behind his base. And then the boar, totally reasonable. In fact, this is probably one of the fairest spawns of boar I've seen in a while on Altai. Sometimes you get a drunk boar out in no man's land who forgot that he had an invitation to the inner circle, and then you get another boar that's just plopped somewhere in the center towards one player or the other. But this overall, like, I've got to give credit, like, really big round of applause to Petito for his map hunting. It seems like he really outdone himself with this one. This is possibly one of the best Altai. What? Okay, I'm not going to be too harsh. I feel like because of the positioning of the relics and the mountain passes, this is mostly even with a slight edge to Wam on the relics. But overall, yeah, this gets my stamp of acceptable approval for a mirror matchup. Let's focus on the big detail. You know what we're looking for now, the bounty system. DeMusliM already on his way up with Wheelbarrow, and Wam. Why does he hate Wheelbarrow so much? I mean, he does realize he's just creating a, you know, everyone's going to have hunchbacks by the time they're 30 in his society, right? He does realize the medical bills are going to come back to bite you in the ass. Because this is the second game in a row where he's delayed in getting wheelbarrows. You notice how early Ben does it. This also seems like Wam's not going to play in towards the ball if he doesn't start researching wheelbarrow now. And I don't know if this is more so than last one because he got stung last time. Remember, in game 1, they both played towards the ball early. DeMusliM beat him to the punchline, though. Right? DeMusliM went there to extract ball, whereas I think Wam went there to deny it. But DeMusliM actually put up the Wooden Fortress first, where most players put it up second. And that was the difference maker. And it kind of feels like in this situation, Wam's almost hesitant to gamble on rushing towards a ball if DeMusliM does it as well. Right now, Wam is at least getting the better side of the bounty system, though. I think they're pretty much done, actually. Maybe 1 or 2 wolves remaining somewhere in the forest. I'm looking for them. Giving people weird eye burns as I zoom across the map. It looks like they got everything, actually. Yeah, I think that adds up. 235, 270, and then you got 2 balls on top of it. So nobody will be able to get the tier 3 bounty. But Wam with a slight edge there can turn it into a tech up lead. But oh no. Wam, baby, no. So DeMusliM hasn't made the ball pull yet. But Wam is making this trek without wheelbarrow. This is very slow. Like, honestly, this is old people with walking sticks level of slow right now. Honestly, this is, you could get up from your keyboard, go and have a toilet break, pour yourself a drink, come back, and they still wouldn't be at the ball. And by the time they arrive at the ball, DeMusliM's going to make it annoying for him. He aggroes the ball out straight away. Switch over on the scout aggression, though. He's going to try to intercept this. Shivs are out, though. Wam might lose one of the scouts, but the importance is the ball. Can he actually get it? Final strike's going to come out. Villagers are going to stay alive. In fact, did he lose a single one? Or did he only pull... Yeah, he only pulled 7. Okay, thank goodness. I always have to check with these players because some players like to play 6, 7, or 8. 8, of course, being optimal because the boar has enough room around its carcass for 8 villagers at a time. And straight into the hunting cabin. So the reason he does this is because DeMusliM seemingly hasn't shown any aggression onto the boar and also hasn't teched up yet. So he's confident that he can now get this up and then get the Wooden Fortress afterwards. In fact, if he knew what we knew, if he had that vision and knew that DeMusliM is only now ready to tech up, he could probably afford to go for a Wooden Fortress back at home first. Oh, look at this. Wham, he spots the move out. Now, the villager count is not in favor of DeMusliM, but the scout count is. And here we go. Oh, the Wooden Fortress, he needs to build it quicker than this. It's going to be the Kremlin play. DeMusliM! Oh my god. No way. No way, Jose. He cancels it. He realizes it's too late. And now DeMuslim's all in. He has to go straight for Wam's base. It's the only play. No? So instead, he's going to take the suboptimal play. He runs all the way across the board. So he delayed his tech up for nothing. Oh, wow. I really thought DeMusliM was going to go for all in there. I've seen this, by the way. It is feasible to go for the Kremlin drop with the wooden fortress. I think his concern is he doesn't know what we do, which is Wam hasn't built any military infrastructure yet. He could have got away with that. He could have got a Kremlin in and then crawled a wooden fortress on the tree line, and then all of a sudden Wam, he just can't get anything. But instead, now he shifts across onto the ball. He's delayed. He will at least manage to move out here with the full 8 villages. But he's so far behind. I mean, he even pulled 8 villages to now build up the Golden Gate. He's been, what, a minute plus behind Wam. And Wam doesn't even try to get exploitive. He just gets greedy about it. He's like, okay, I'm just going to go for more pocket ecos. I'm going to keep gathering. I'm not going to commit yet. Instead, Wam, it looks like his intent is to get vision on DeMuslim's base and try to force him to react first. I know the Rus are known for their vodka, but I started to think someone was on vodka in this one. I mean, that series of events was a little bit out of left field from DeMuslim. I like the idea of a Kremlin, but maybe here wasn't the way to do it. And look what's happening out of Wam. Oh my good gracious. Most people wouldn't expect this either. This TC is overall terrible in terms of nearby resources, but it's well hidden from DeMuslim. And DeMuslim, is he going pro scouts? Because if he goes pro scouts, he'll spot this. No, he's going around the back. He's still confused. He's like, what has he built? What is he going into? He's going into more villages, but you just don't know it. Far away in the fields, distant beyond Mordor, lives a society high up in the hills. The second Rus. And they gather deer unhindered. The Muslim's never going to see this. Oh! Kazi sees it! As soon as I said it, he shifted south. So he does spot the expansion now. But what can he do about it is the real question mark, right? He's being slowed down on his eco lines by scouts. He hasn't got a military building out just yet. And his town center is something he just can't dive. Scouts aren't going to be good enough. And if we look at the income per minute right now, like DeMuslim, he's ahead on food for the moment. But every time Wam gets back out of the food, he's ahead. Both of them are not going for gold. But I feel like one of them has more to trade right now. In fact, Wam, although he has less people in wood, that's going to shift very quickly as he produces more of these villages. The question is, what can DeMuslim do with this ball? Like, it's keeping him alive right now. This is why he fell back for the second ball. After he realized the Kremlin play wasn't going to work, he couldn't run back to base. If he didn't get ball, his food gathering rates were going to be inferior. That's why he played out onto the secondary ball, even though it took him so long. DeMuslim, he always does this. It's so cut and dry out of Ben. He loves this Castle Age rush. I mean, has no one told him that it's April? Okay, in fairness, he's not full boomer, right? He goes to the boar. But it's almost like he's gone, yes, boar is good, but you know what I really miss? Castle Age rush. Castle Age rush was so fun. Let's go back to it. And it shows how powerful the boar is that he goes on the boar, invests 275 resources out here to defend it. And his Castle Age timing is still not too far off what we were seeing in the Horse Archer meta. Pretty respectable. And I'm expecting Horse Archers to come out because his intent is probably to move out into this expansion TC, understanding that Wam won't have enough garrison spots to protect all the villages. Right now, Wam, he's actually investing hard into the feudal. He'll get the bad news, though. This is the second game in a row that DeMuslim's done this to him. Question is, what can he do about it? Well, the issue is with this positioning on the archer ranges, probably not much. This game's going to drag a lot later now because of the positioning of his base. He's gone early into feudal forces, but he's only just started building at the 10-minute mark. The Muslim's going to match the military force, right? Like, it's going to be similarly scaled. The difference, however, is that Ben's going to be a whole tech ahead. So, Wam, he needs a clear answer. Like, maybe you could play into the pocket ecos, but the thing that DeMuslim's done really well is with his timing on the castle age, like, he's actually matched he's matched the scalability right now of Wam's eco without exposing himself, right? Like, he's going to keep condensed for longer because he doesn't have additional villager from second TC. And then he's also going to scale his eco by going now into the warrior monks to click up relics. And I think this is what Wam is doing. He's building a few small vanguard forces to go out and guard. You can see a villager now building up the walls on the south side. And then he'll station 1 or 2 units here on the relic just to try and snipe anything that comes to pick it up. However, just a few horse archers could ruin this plan from Wam. That's the awkward issue, because he got roped into this now. He has to scale his eco to a certain degree in conjunction with his military force. He can't just all in on one. Like, he needs to slowly reach the castle age. But if he just decides to halt all production, then DeMuslim's going to collect all the relics. And he can't allow that at any stage now. Not to mention the fact, like, if he does do that and you get forced to go into high trade house, like, where's your good high trade house? This isn't a map that offers you a lot of wood lines that allow you to get maximum gold income. There we go. Relic in the center, yoinked away by DeMuslim. Already has 2 now coming back to home. And by the time Wam makes it up into Castle Age, this could easily be 4 relics for DeMuslim. A similar situation to Game 1 might emerge. Good news for Wam fans is he is starting to wall these in, though, so it looks like he might be able to collectively yoink free. Oh, but no. Wow. Well, it's not quite as bad as bugged out villagers on sheep, but I don't think this is a Rus anymore. This is the English. They're so polite the way they queue. Look at them. He has 7 idle eco at a time. My turn. My turn. Oh, yeah. That's definitely slowing him down. That means that eco lead he has isn't there anymore because it's been shrunk by the fact that relics are gathered, right? So they're actually neck and neck again. So Wam now needs to move out from this TC location. Do you go on the gold? Do you go on the stone? Do you think about going to the farms? And it looks like he did at least finally realize he had the idle eco. He only realized it because he ran out of deer, though. And this should be a plan to the berries. So if Wam can contain the midfield, he's got a lot of equity here. He needs to as well because of his woodline location. Remember what we highlighted about this at the beginning of the game? It's the fact that DeMuslim has these 2 very safe wood lines condensed together. They're even efficient for bridging over a wooden fortress if need be. Wam has this aggressive tree line. That means if he loses midfield control, he only ever had 1 wood line at his disposal. Wam, did he reinvest? He did. Moves out into the villagers, strikes at them. Archers around the backside, baiting DeMuslim to the back corner. But what's the intent now? Wam, he's not ready for a tech up. He has way too much wood being floated right now. This play makes sense if he now wants to go for Castle Age because his opponent's out of position. The issue, however, is he just doesn't have the resources for it. Scouts are going to move in. Trades out the horse archers. Should get reasonable trades, not great ones, though, because remember, these horse archers do 12 damage compared to your 5. So it's going to cost you the army. But the knights wrap around the back, just trying to cut off any reinforcements. However, this is not necessarily the area to play towards. Remember, this is the Muslims' wolves, so if you ride into this gap, you're going to die. And still, it feels a little bit off. Wam, because he had such gaps in his food gathering, right, because he was shifting across to these berry bush lines, it means that he wasn't ready for the castle up. It almost feels like he didn't intend for this to be the play. Like, he was playing towards the north corner with the intent of when he arrives there, he would have surplus food available for a tech up. But it just hasn't worked that way. And he does have free supplies, so he could actually now just race up if he traded for it. But no. Instead, Wam just takes the slower approach. Knights will at least spot the wrap in. So DeMuslim, despite the fact he's had such a long tech lead, he can't get more than 2 of these relics. And that's unlikely to change anytime soon. Wow. Wow. Big eco lead. The issue, however, with scaling your eco like this is, do you have the resources to keep them useful? I don't think DeMuslim's going to like to have those resources at this rate. A lot of horse archers in the field can target out those early knights. Easy peasy. Makes for good trades. Heals back for a little bit. Wam ready for the tech up now. But he might lose the front army. It might force him to reinvest. Instead, he just attack clicks him to the side of the map, ensuring DeMuslim retreats while he techs up. Abbey at Trinity being built up by 20 villagers as well. Might as well. You got so many surplus that can't really find good value. Wham really, really needs these relics soon. The issue, however, is look at DeMusliM. He instantly re-aggresses here. He sees the weakness shown. He's like, wait, why is Wam slowed down? Why did he just throw away troops like that? That's the second time he's done that. He has to be teching up. And the wolves come up just in time to prevent DeMusliM raiding in. Good play from Wam. Limited food, though. Frustrating situation. Instantly in the Siege Workshop. Midfield now under the control of DeMusliM. And this is why Wam's going to the Siege Workshop. He needs to invest what little wood he has into getting a Siege Force in place to defend this wood line. Without this, he's lost. Small quantities of stone also coming through for Wam, so looks like he's going to naturally scale towards a keep, probably going to drop it towards the central sacred site, as he does have the means to easily box in this pass. DeMusliM is not going to make it easy to get there. Wam, the issue he has right now is the solid counter to this composition out of DeMusliM is Horsemen. But the thing that Wam is running out of food on the map of very quickly is food. And that's why he goes to the Mangonels instead, because that's what he can afford. If there's one thing he has close by, it's plenty of wood and gold. And soon, even more gold once he picks up those relics. Those relics that still cannot be accessed by DeMusliM because, well, he doesn't have a way of burning through the wall, and any warrior monk that runs past his wooden fortress is going to die. And this trade from DeMusliM, he actually goes in for it. Wam will just bait him in. Fire coming out from the wooden fortress means the trade isn't as bad as it should be for Wam. And he's kind of okay with that, because I don't think Wam ever intended to upgrade the archers. Oh, looks like I'm wrong about that. Bad trade. Bad Wam. Now, upgrade does come through, and the Mangonel rolling out is going to force DeMusliM away. Still heavy damage done, right? Like, we have to remember the cost of these horse archers compared to archers. It's 120 resources versus 80 resources. So it's a 1.5 ratio. So, in fairness, when you look at the numbers, you see how many DeMuslim's picked apart compared to Wam, you have to remember that difference. It means that these trades, like, it's been laid in with a few knights here or there, but they're closer than they may be seen. And that's what will continue to happen with the current compositions. Right in by the horse archers, Mangonel shot coming out, nice sidestep. Instantly pokes and prods at the villagers, and Wam still hesitant to make the switch into farms because he has such limited wood at his disposal. Archers moving forward. Keep being constructed right now. Oh, Wam, I think it's too late to stop this. He's going to try to shift across now. Mangonel can't get in range, though. He has to peel back. DeMusliM does a good job of buying time, and now he has center map control of the keep. And I think DeMusliM has identified correctly the issue of Wam's macro. The build he's gone for, like the way he's laid his base, he just still doesn't have surplus food. He's almost drained the initial deer next to his TC, which I praise him for going for that 1 second, right? So he got rid of the risky resource first. But in terms of safe resources, he's running out. He's got berry patches on the back. But this berry in the front line, it's been hard fought for, and it's still draining dry quickly. Meanwhile, on DeMusliM's side of the map, farms are already underway. You can see he's actually made that lofty transition. 12 farms already up, and Wam still not investing in a single one, running out of trees quickly. And this is the optimization, right? Because of the fact that horse archers, for some reason, don't ask me why, cost less wood than archers, it means that Wam has invested more on that. And it means that he's been draining his wood resources, his finite resources, at a much quicker pace than DeMusliM, who is still only on his first wood line. It's actually really impressive. I feel like DeMusliM's just understood the late game situation. Like, he's willing to play with this later timing, understanding that what we talked about, Wam likes to go for later as well, right? He tries to be a bit more methodical instead of rushing to an end. And it means that this does turn into a resource grab. And in that resource grab, if you're already vastly behind and your second wood line is on the front line, you have maybe 5 minutes to claw your way out into the center of this map before it becomes a deep issue in your eco. And that's why he rules out the Trebs now as well. Mangonels, Trebuchets, but Cerule's now coming out for DeMusliM. These archer rangers on the front line out. Wow, I mean, he's just trying to replace the lost archers as quickly as possible. And a small wrap around, a contingent of knights wrapping in here. DeMusliM, if Wam forces some attention on the front line, he could extract value and increase that eco lead. You can see he is ahead right now, but like we said, he's got that lofty transition to farms ahead of him. Charge in. Knights onto the gold line. DeMusliM slow to react to this as well. He's got it from the other side. Oh my god, he calls GG! He instantly calls GG! No way! Wow! I did not see that coming. DeMusliM with the unexpected GG. Wham! Admittedly, his total unit count is going up. His army is scaling quickly, but I don't know if I would have said this one was outright over. I could see it slowly moving towards Wham, right? Because he was reaching his win condition. But DeMusliM, he had the anti-siege. He had the counter solution in the center. To GG out after a few knights wrapped around the back, wow. I am perplexed by this call. But DeMusliM, I mean, in fairness, he has got that static siege, right? One thing to highlight here is he's getting stretched thin with the villagers. And the eco difference means that Wham can dispose of villagers in a sacrificial way that DeMusliM can't. And DeMusliM has a bunch pulled on the front line. He's getting picked apart at the back. The only thought process I can have out of DeMusliM is he understood the scaling was going on due to the secondary TC. And because he went for horse archers, he put himself on the clock. So I think the logical process for DeMusliM, why he sees this as a done game, is he went for horse archers and springalds. Horse archers are meant to raid in. Wham done a phenomenal job of gating the map, right? He puts the walls up, he puts the wooden fortresses up, he's starting to move out and ensuring that there's no raid potential for horse archers. So DeMusliM at that stage is stuck on this investment. He's also gone for springalds. He doesn't have any anti-clump himself, and it means that he's at risk of archers flooding through and overwhelming him. So to kind of look at this from a why would you call GG perspective versus a this seems premature perspective, I think DeMusliM has just kind of identified the fact that he's out-ecoed, possibly doesn't maybe see the same like extent of wood drain we're seeing out of Wham, but he's identified that because he's being double capped on the eco count, Wham can afford to sacrifice a lot of villagers into the center mass, whereas DeMusliM can't. And DeMusliM, that's his worst case situation. He understands that even though it's a later castle age timing, Wham has 3 relics secure, right? He can get 3 at any time versus a 2. And also, although you've optimized your wood slightly better than Wham, you've spent it on things that aren't going to win you the game. They just let you survive the game. Springals are there to deter mangonels. Horse archers are there to pick apart with open raids. Once those options disappear, DeMusliM decides it's time to wave the white flag, doesn't want to waste time, realizing that this will probably go to a third game. Instead, he wants to reset, get ready, because we are going to need a third one to decide this. A deciding game. 1-1 is the score, but in a best of 3, there can be only one winner. And hopefully, in just a few minutes, we'll be able to find out where we are going to be heading. Interestingly enough, the only thing that is mirror for this third game is they both banned the Roos. We head into King of the Hill, where one will be crowned and one will have a frown, as they will be eliminated from round 2 of Golden League. Let's hop in, because we have got Abbasids versus the English on the new King of the Hill. This feels like a cool way to end it. Like, I've talked about this previously on the official EGC stream. I really like this King of the Hill. I know some people hate it. Maybe those people just like nice random generations. For me, I like how almost arena-y it feels while still having that kind of random feeling of AoE 4. It's kind of weird and unfamiliar for us because Age of Empires 2, you kind of expect this generation. This is more AoE 2 aligned, right? I feel like there's kind of more structure, more order. AoE 4, we're just kind of too used to anarchy, right? Like, map generations, if we were a villain, we'd be the Joker, right? We just do things because we do things, right? Put 2 balls right next to each other, right next to one opponent's base. Put all the gold and relics around the other player. Like, this kind of crap all the time. King of the Hill kind of threw a wrench in the works. Out of all the maps, it's the closest to being kind of Age of Empires 2-ish, in that the generation is very structured. And you can see that just by the layout of resources. The relics are fairly even. This one should probably be centralized at the top. And even things like the deer and the boar, right, seem like they're fairly well balanced. And look what we're opening with. DeMusliM, he's going in. Oh my god, no, look, the scout's stopping it, Wham! He tried to wall himself in. Can he get it up? Can he get it up? Still a little bit to do here. DeMuslim's almost there. He's going for the early Vanguard man-at-arms play. And DeMuslim's going to block it. He sticks on the spot, but no, he can't. He's going round. DeMuslim's timing just got skewed, and he's being attacked by wildlife as well. Even the deer was thinking about punching him in the head there. He's just dragging the wolves in. Oh my giddy. DeMusliM. So what he's trying to do here, folks, the play here is the Vanguard man-at-arms rush play. if you quickly build a man-at-arms right at the beginning out of Iraq's, which you can quickly because it's only 15 seconds now compared to the old 22, you can rush across the map and arrive at your opponent's goal line at about 2 minutes max, which is quick enough to usually deny a tech up. But Wam, he manages to deny the timing. He gets the required quantity of gold, and now he is going to be able to tech up. And it's already 2 man-at-arms. I mean, a lot of people have been stopping at 1, but DeMuslim's really investing in this. It's just too late. Pulled back by the villagers. Now, remember, the man-at-arms did also get the armor buff. They used to be 2 ranged and melee armor. It's been put up to 3 now to make it a more cost-effective unit. The issue, however, is he hasn't stopped this. House of Wisdom's built. Tech up underway. The only way DeMuslim now keeps value is if he stops any straggler tree gains. Or rather, main tree gains, because the thing that Wam's being struggling to do now is get out with the wood line. He's stuck on straggler trees, which means, as it stands, he has 300, maybe 450 wood at his disposal to get himself out of this jam. And meanwhile, what's DeMuslim doing? More man-at-arms, baby. And now the villager pull as well. So he's actually going on to Deer as the English. This is interesting. We don't see this frequently. The whole logic, though, is he's trying to optimize his economy. So he gets a quick feudal now, and then he can upgrade those initial man-at-arms that have pinned his opponent in. And look what he's trying to do. Man-at-arms diving in. Villagers being denied from building up the outpost. But is it enough? 8 damage per strike. Villagers trying to peel off here. One's going to be forced down, though. He can't get the final strike out. Wham, this is important as well. He needs this outpost. Look at the pull. If the outpost goes up, he can shift out to the wood line from here. But right now he's being denied. And DeMuslim starts torching it to force him to come out. And the plastic swords might not be good enough. 8 damage. It's just too pitiful. Builds up the outpost, and suddenly he has a staging point. Will force DeMuslim away. And DeMuslim, because he went for 2 man-at-arms, he slowed down his timing. Remember the price on these. They're hefty. 100 food and 20 gold. He is still not ready for Castle Age, for Feudal Age. Definitely not ready for Castle Age. And Wham, heart going a million miles an hour for good reason. Like we saw this, we've seen people do this before. These type of games can actually end in a flash. But DeMuslim maybe getting punished for the overinvestment. Yet, yeah, he slows down Wham's timing slightly, but he also stunts his own. I mean, you see DeMuslim, like, he's still not ready. What? Did he reinvest in more? There's no way. It's just villagers right now. I could have sworn he had more food before. This is so late, though. We're like, what, going to be 5 minutes in? Did he at least get wheelbarrow tech? No. Wow, DeMuslim has actually struggled a lot in this early game. Like, he's sacrificed so much for this aggression of the man-at-arms. But the man-at-arms really haven't found value. In fact, this 21 health man-at-arms will just get shivved now. Wham just sees it. He's like, what the hell are you doing here? Get out. 8 damage just doesn't cut it. I mean, this play makes sense if you make it in time before he gets the tech up. But afterwards, this play is just suboptimal. And now it is going to be the Council Hall, but this is going to be so delayed. No wheelbarrow. Council Hall's still going to take probably through until minute 7 to complete with 1 villager on it. And now you have to kind of question mark what the move is. I mean, Wham, he's a lot more stable. You see what he's doing. He goes instantly on the stone. It will be a secondary TC, probably next to the gold and the wood line in the north here. We'll give him a lot more kind of pad and flow to his base. And there's plenty of wood to extract in this area. Remember, that's the thing that you've got surplus of everywhere on this map now due to the way that King of the Hill generates. Wow. I would love to have player cam or perspective and voice right now. Could you imagine if we could go for a listen-in? I'd love to know what Ben's thinking at this point after everything that's happened. Because this was not the plan. I wonder how much he's actually practiced this as well. I've only managed to catch a few games of him on the new patch, and it wasn't the early man-at-arms rush. It feels like this would have been the map, though. Like, I don't blame him for trying it, but you've just got to give so much credit over to Wham. The fact that he instantly went and walled this up, understanding what this map could mean, was the difference maker. It delayed DeMuslim's man-at-arms timing by at least 30 to 40 seconds, which was enough time for him to get feudal. That's the whole point of this play, by the way. To reiterate, you push the man-at-arms early because he arrives on the gold line, usually in time, to deny the opponent tech up. And look at that, a very deep TC. I wondered if he would go this loose. This is a little bit risky. You could get raided and shut down here. Usually a lot of Abbasid players like to keep their TC within like a screen reach so you can daisy chain it in for the Golden Age effect. But as long as he gets maybe a wall or outpost or two up, like, oh, maybe this is a proxy base, this feels like a good play. I actually don't mind this as an outpost. Like, not outpost, sorry, a proxy base. If you go into, say, 1 or 2 archer ranges, or maybe the stables from here, like, you shorten the distance to arrive in your opponent's base by a decent margin. No photo TC intent right now, so Wam won't be too greedy. Sees the tech up finally out. We'll build the stable back at home. And this is where you can get some healthy comps, by the way. If you go for, like, stable and then, say, racks, like, you can produce the racks here, and it minimizes the distance so they actually sync up on the rush towards your opponent's base. I wouldn't expect racks here simply because it is the English, and they will build Lombos. It's the most likely play, and we're going to see something coming out. What we're most likely to see out of Wam here is Horseman Camel Archers. Camel Archers did get some significant buffs. So for one thing, the base damage at rank 1 went from 10 to 12, and it increased by 2 at each rank. So overall, you gain 2 damage more than you used to with camels. And as a balance to that, the bonus damage against spearmen got changed from 3 times to 2 times. But it means that overall, camel archers are better at trading with different unit types, while being slightly worse against spears. So horsemen, there's the archery range. Siege engineering, DeMusliM is really planning to go all in. I don't blame him now as well. Like, he understands the state of the game. His opponent went for secondary TC, so he's a little bit greedy. And his first rush with man-at-arms delayed his feudal timing too much. So now DeMusliM understands that the game kind of closes out away from him in the next 5 minutes. If you're English versus the Abbasids, the worst thing you can do at this state is rush castle against them. Because if you both arrive in castle at the same time, even with the nerfs to building siege in the field for the Abbasids and the Mongols, it's still something that's quicker than the English. The English don't really get away to mass siege instantly. That's why most games that drag out the English, they rely on Trebs instead, because they're an efficient unit, shall we say. They don't die as frequently as Springles or Mangonels. Wow. There's the Camel Archers. Holding a lot of gold right now and gathering more. I think he's trying to naturally scale towards Castle without hard forcing it. Because he is gathering a lot of food, remember. Like, when we look at the eco numbers, 17 people on food. But now he's going for the secondary archery range. It just kind of feels like maybe he's holding this gold not for much. As double archery range is a hefty investment, right? Every 35 seconds, you're paying 180 food. On top of the fact that you've lost the value for food stuff saving you resource because now you have 2 TCs, right? So it costs 50 food again. But you are at least scaling your eco, right? The only concern is where do you go from here? You're going to have to shift the south side, and something that DeMusliM's done a good job of is his posturing. He denies the deer on the south, and it means that Wam is very limited in what food he can access in the coming minutes. DeMusliM now moving forward with the double villager, building up the outpost, burning down the palisade gates soon. Wam now trying to build into that archer contingent. And he's making it a healthy contingent, not just camel archers, but also archers in the mixer. Understands that efficiency-wise, camel archers versus lombos, it's not a good trade. But if you get enough archers, you can at least chase down those lombos. Look at this, the horsemen, they wrap around, they calf reinforcements. Really nice move out of Wam. They've killed a few longbowmen already. So now you have an awkward state for DeMusliM. Like, does he wait to push reinforcements out in mass so that the horsemen can't counter him? Or does he now pull back the forces to react to this? Because if he reacts to this, it means that Wam's getting what he wants. And DeMusliM understands this perfectly. So instead, he'll just have to set up a secondary force and try to make do with what he's got on the front line. The issue is, with such a small quantity, he won't want to march in towards the main base and invest rams. So this should skew his time slightly. And while that time gets skewed, you know that Wam is escalating quickly. In fact, when you look at the military front, right now, he has the lead. Because all of his army is here. A lot of the Muslims is not going to be. And because he can't get reinforcements, that's another thing. Wam has home field advantage, right? We always have to highlight this. You're attacking your opponent's base, so he's going to be able to build up forces and put them in the fight a lot quicker than you because you do not have a proxy base. So far, these horsemen have been a pain in DeMusliM's ass. And here it is, the ram. He's going. He almost has enough for a secondary ram. He's going to need it as well. Shifting across on the gold line. Wam has invested some of that gold, interestingly enough. He's going to be forced to garrison in here, so Outpost will protect him in the meantime. Needs to pull into this fight soon, wrapping around, looking on the villages, the back line of Lombos as well. Horsemen are going to rush through. And the spearmen out of position to be chased by the archers and the camel archers. There's not enough of them to get through the horsemen. Horsemen force out the garrison. The Muslim second outpost goes up just in time. He is protected for the moment. And with a limited number of horsemen, it might be hard to burn through these, but he will commit. The question is, which one does he want to commit onto? Turns out he's actually going for the one with the Aristote's upgrade. Ram has burnt through the outpost, but now he can just turn around and get rid of this. Understands that there's no point addressing the outpost when the Ram has just been thrown away for free. The Muslim is really trying to just spin this game in circles right now, though. Like, everything about the way he's played this is just question marks, right? A lot of people maybe wouldn't follow what the overarching strategy is. And that's actually good. Because if you don't understand what the overarching strategy is, does Wam understand what the overarching strategy is? It just kind of throws your opponent out of the loop. And Wam hasn't been getting scouting info anytime recently. So, for all he knows, the Muslim could be transitioning, he could be going towards castle, he could be doing anything of a number of possibilities, because English have been changing a little bit with his man-at-arms rush. So instead, Wam's choice, if he's blind, is to play towards his advantage. Remember what we highlighted early on. When you're playing English versus the Abbasids, if you have to play blind especially, your biggest leverage is going for the castle. He just needs to gather on the gold, and that's why he instantly rushes out 12 people. He's almost there. And then he can begin. 1 minute and 45 seconds. Let's make it 2 minutes, because he's gathering right now, away from castle, and that is his win condition. And the Muslim's win condition is in the next 2 minutes then, because he's renewing the Rams. He hasn't scaled at all. He walls himself in, but he's still only 1 TC versus 2 this entire time. Third outpost going up. Now Rams from Wam. He ain't gonna make it that easy. Tech up underway is gonna be the culture wing, despite the fact that the military wing did get buffed. Wam doesn't see the value in it. Remember, they switched this around, so you get boot camp at the start for the military wing, whereas it used to be Imperial Age unlock. Muslim. Build more outposts. Such a heavy investment. Gaining such little ground every time as well. One villager is going to be sniped, but that's not enough to make up the deficit. And you have to wonder, would it have been better value to go on for this? Like this TC extension and then shift around. Could he have done more damage? It's hard to say. And you can't easily go for a landmark victory, right? Like the upgrade is almost there. We're just 60 seconds out from Culture Wing, and that means this House of Wisdom gets an extra 5,000 health. Here we go, Rams moving out. How many torch units? Archers moving forward, villagers chasing after the Ram to just zerg it away. Horsemen pushing away those longbows, and that means he can turn around to maybe address one of the spears in the man-at-arms. Ram does get through one of the towers. We'll shift away. Not before one of them gets torched. And a new outpost going up. What's going on with the horsemen? Guys, it's not a time to mate and make more of you. Kill the villagers. They will go down. Outpost is denied. And I think that's a nod. Right there, Wham's like, okay, that's good. I'm fine with that. Because that means no more outposts. That means no more shifting. And that also means no repair crew for any additional Rams unless you want to pull more villagers. And that also means I will reach my win condition. Tech up about to complete. And look at what Wham's doing. Needs to get on the gold. But wood is really healthy. Sets up a new gold line, will instantly be ready for the double Mangonel. And after that, everything on the front line from DeMusliM is going to disappear. Now, one limitation for Wham is the lack of food. You've seen he's trying to address that now, but these farm locations do bite him a little. That Mangonel placement. Oh, no. Wham! Wham, what's going on here? No! He's not building it quick enough. It's almost done. He just gets it out in time. Does lose a bunch of archers in the process, though. That right there, that's the changes, by the way. Remember, they increased the speed, or the amount of time, rather, required to build siege in the field. They doubled it, in fact. Wham would have, in previous patches, had that Mangonel up, firing on the longbows. But in this patch, no. Now, Wham, will he learn from his lessons? Will he try to set up farms in the north here, away from the front line? Because they're pricey investments, 75 wood each. He has definitely got surplus. But you don't want to be using that surplus to get nothing in return. And when they are in range of longbows like this, you are definitely getting nothing in return. Gold being extracted in mass. Mangonel needs to be careful. Man-at-arms are rushing in here. Second Mangonel being built, but being built slow. Pulls the villagers. Plenty of them here ready to repair. They're going to need it as well. And look at this construct. Comes in with the torches. Burns onto it. Mangonel. No repairs. Villagers, they need to attack right now. Mangonel in trouble. It's not even firing. Wham, what's going on? What's going on? One shot out. That's not going to be good enough, though. The dive in from DeMusliM. He understands what's happened here. The weakness being shown. Wham! He has no food income. He has no way of building a front line. And no way out of the corner is stuck in at this rate. Nice shift out on the other side of the TC with the villagers. Second round of torches coming through onto the Ram. Buys him a little bit of time. Much needed time, in fact. And my God, DeMusliM is somehow making this look close still. Wham. Now heavy investment in the Archer Rangers. Trying to recover, but how do you recover? Where is your food? You need food, man! There are starving children all around the world, and Wham is one of them. Not even 10 food to his name. And he can't get on the berries. Outpost is denying that. No wriggle room either for farms. Like, where do you build them now? You needed them up here in the north. It feels too late, though. Ram's being built. Extended base going to be taken down. And Wham is looking like a headless chicken. He wishes he had some chicken right now. What would they be worth? 50 food each? He'd take it. And finally, we are going to get the farms. But how long did we have to wait for this? So much time has passed by where Wham could have done this. But instead, he was waiting for what with the wood? I don't even know. Maybe he was trying to make himself a life raft to get the hell off of this island. I assume there's water beyond these tree lines. Because right now, he does not like being stuck in this arena with DeMusliM. Ay, caramba. Heavy damage done here. Archer Rangers going down. Now the TC in trouble, and Wham, the Great Migration begins. Oh my good God. No. Oh, DeMusliM is coming here as well. Wham is so desperate that he's pulling all of his villagers across to his opponent's side of the map to gather deer here. The proxy base is gone, right? The extended TC is down. And now, one man at arms can butcher you here. Everything is going downhill from Wham as he tries to run uphill. Maganel's is one saving grace, but they're just out of position. They can't put out all these fires. And make no mistake, Benny Boy is definitely setting plenty of things ablaze. And while he's doing this, look at the numbers. He's slowly getting there. He's almost ready for his own castle age. And Wham! It feels like the moment he accessed castle, everything started to go downhill. He was losing everything everywhere. Oh, my word. Double Mago starting to get through the outposts. Wham now building into the Ram as well. Archers will pepper onto the early man-at-arms, forcing him away. But Wham, he's literally just been running laps of the map. And now he's going to what? Run past the outpost with arrow slits upgrades. Oh, DeMusliM! The quick wall. Is it quick enough, though? I think he's just a little bit too slow. Maybe he can stop someone getting through, but no, he gets blocked. That would have been a stinger right there. Remember, Wham's now only 1 TC. He would have had 11 villagers stuck in no man's land just dying. At least gets them back. But back to what? Wham's like, oh, thank God. It was so scary out there. Runs into the base and sees everything is on fire. Oh, no. Out of the frying pan, into the furnace here. Usually it's an oven, but an oven just doesn't cut it here. An oven does not set you ablaze the way that DeMusliM is. Villagers pulled forward, trying to get rid of the Rams, and so many of them are going to die here. No textiles, and enough longbowmen to be sniping them down one by one. And while all this is happening, DeMusliM, he causes anarchy in the Epicid Dynasty's base. He causes prosperity in his own. King's Palace being built, all recovery achieved. DeMusliM is in cruise mode, and Wham is in panic mode. And I cannot believe the way DeMuslim's turned this about. And remember, through all this, Wham's been stuck on his initial resources. How much have those really got left? Right? The gold vein lasts a long time, but the food patch is an issue. And to speak of food, you need a lot of patch to build these. Like, you don't have the room for farms. And it means that when you look at DeMuslim's base, and then you look at the income per minute, look at the numbers! Oh my God. god! Never have I ever seen someone this lost on where to get food. And while Wam has plenty of wood in his eco, that was never the concern. That was never the issue in this game. Everything else was the problem. And although he is not on terminal ward right now, right? He's on life support. We haven't pulled the plug just yet. DeMusliM is outside playing basketball, thriving. He's never felt better in his whole life. Because not only has he got Castle Age, he's now got a monastery to gather up the relics and get gold. And he starts to boom, right? All these farms really start to come online. An additional 5% gathering speed on all of them. In addition to that, DeMusliM has been taking good trades against you with a tech disadvantage. Imagine what Ben could do if he was in the same tech as you. Imagine what Ben could do if, unlike you, he had food. So much time just being wasted to what? Get rid of 2 outposts and do what? Like, maybe the berries, but there's still the outpost on the high ground. And DeMusliM, it's a switch up. The horsemen are coming. And Wam, it's only ever been archers. Yes, he had horsemen once upon a time, but when was the last time you saw this lad build horse? And well, the horseman might be the answer. But what is the question? The question is, how do you throw a game as the Abbasids? How do you lose it so simply? You lose it by going hard into archers. And me and the horseman battalion, they're in. Torches him down. Maganel, so damn pricey. A heavy loss for Wam. One that he's going to struggle to replace. They're in, poking and prodding. Horseman sticking on top of the archers. Man-at-arms way too tanky now. Up to 7 missile resistance, 6 melee resistance. Nothing can breach them. And DeMusliM, he might have done it at this rate. There's barely anything left in it for Wam. Wam draining the gold dry, but the food is going to be the bigger problem as he has barely any villagers working the backside. Everyone is just on wood. So many more to die. I just, it's like you've just been watching the Empire burn. It's like it's been so hard to focus on how you now win this game because you've been so wrapped up in how you lost it in the last 10 minutes. It looks so good. Wam with this opener. The walls to deny the rush from DeMusliM. DeMusliM putting himself behind, but Wam never padding himself with a front line. I know it's the Age of Siege. I know it's strong. But there are limitations, and you reach those limitations. Now DeMusliM, like an anime character, exceeds his own limitations here. Screams, I'm not done yet. But you know what? Wam might be. Villagers just dying left, right, and center. I'm not the smartest cookie in the box, but I can't find a way back in for Wam anymore. And I've got a feeling he can't either. DeMusliM, despite the wonky opening, he only got more sturdy from there. He recovers this game in beautiful fashion to turn it around and eliminate Wam. DeMusliM will continue on in the redemption bracket. I can't believe what I watched here. What a game. What a phenomenal game. Look at the turnabout. Wam was so far ahead at a point. Look at the resources as well. Oh my God. Well, I said he was on life support, and this is beginning to look like a heart monitor, isn't it? I mean, this was crippling to watch if you're a Wam fan. You big this guy up, you talk about how great he is, and then you watch how quickly this game backfires. Look at this. Castle Age was meant to be a great time. The best of times. But instead, the moment he reached Castle Age, everything just got worse. And Ben, what a phenomenal way to recover this. Like that start looked like it needed some work. It looked like it needed a brush up, but the way he followed through, the way he recovered this game was absolutely gobsmackingly amazing. DeMusliM, like, so much credit to him. I mean, it's not easy to come back from that. It's not easy to try and weigh up the timing when you fall back and actually eco-scale yourself, but he did such a good job of it. He turned this game in such an abrupt fashion. He understood where Wam was weak, where his food was not sorted, and he exploited it to the maximum. And Wam, That is going to be what he takes to the grave with him. That is the realization he's going to have clocked in this. He was far too greedy. He needed food. He needed a front line. Transition to siege is good, yes. But these man-at-arms, these spears, they're just going to dive you if they see there's nothing protecting you. And that's exactly what happens. DeMusliM closes this series out in a dominant fashion. What a ton of events. What a way to end this series and continue his journey through. And after that, it does mean that DeMusliM will follow through from this series to face off against Lucifer. DeMusliM, he's the brother slayer right now. He takes out Vortex 2-1. He takes out Puppy Paws, bro, now 2-1. Is he going to do it to Lucifer as well? Is this the bro slayer? Of course, he can't get rid of Puppy Paw. Puppy Paw lost to Lenok yesterday, but 3 of the 4 brothers is a respectable quantity to have taken out yourself. I mean, absolutely amazing. Ben is just looking so much better this week than he was in round 1. I mean, round 1, he got tripped up a little. He got a little bit caught off guard. I think also at the when we look back at the weekend, his series against Puppy Paw, it was a little bit surprising the way he got trapped into English versus French on Mongolian Heights. But DeMusliM is coming back with a fury. You know, he says, "Yeah, redemption bracket is where I'm at, but you know what? I will redeem myself." And he's looking so fierce now. I'm excited to see how deep he can go because I think with the way he performed here, with the way he clutched that series, this could easily become a top 4 finish at least. What a play.